The City Beneath the Turning Sky. Chapter 3. The Forgotten Archive. The pulse came again. Velen felt it through the soles of his boots. Not a sound. Not a vibration carried through the air. Something deeper. The stone beneath the seventh tower seemed to shudder for a single heartbeat. A slow, deliberate thrum. Ancient, patient, alive. Then it was gone. The silence returned. Yet it no longer felt empty. It felt occupied, as though something far below had opened one eye and was now listening. Velen swallowed. The sunlight streaming through the tower windows suddenly seemed colder. Dust drifted lazily through the golden beams. The great gear remained frozen overhead, motionless, watching. For the first time in his life, the seventh tower felt unfamiliar, like a place he had entered many times but never truly seen. Beside him, Master Orin stood perfectly still. The old clockmaker's eyes were closed. His weathered face appeared pale in the morning light. Deep lines creased his brow. The brass lantern hanging from his hand swayed gently, though there was no wind. When he finally opened his eyes, something had changed. The calm certainty Velen had always associated with him was gone. In its place lingered something he had never seen before. Fear. Not panic, not alarm. Recognition, the kind of fear that comes from seeing an old nightmare step quietly into daylight. "It has begun," Orin whispered. The words seemed to disappear into the silence. Velen stared at him. "What has begun?" The old clockmaker looked toward the city. Far below, life continued. The market bells chimed. Silver-winged birds wheeled between the towers. Sunlight glimmered across copper rooftops. The great spiral roads curved outward, from the city center like ripples, frozen upon water. Everything looked unchanged. Yet, Velen could no longer shake the feeling that something fundamental had shifted, as though the city itself were holding its breath. "There are things you need to see," Orin said quietly. Then he turned and walked toward the staircase. Without another word, he began descending. Velen followed. The spiral staircase wound endlessly downward through the heart of the tower. At first everything was familiar. Polished brass railings, smooth stone walls, the steady scent of oil and metal, mechanisms turned within hidden chambers behind the walls, though now their sounds felt strangely distant. Muted, like echoes from another life. Down they traveled. Past the observation levels, past the maintenance floors, past chambers where apprentices repaired delicate instruments and calibrated ancient devices. The deeper they descended, the older the tower became. The polished stone gave way to rough-cut blocks darkened by age. Brass fixtures became iron. Iron became weathered stone. The air grew cooler, drier. Dust gathered thickly upon ledges untouched for generations. The familiar sounds of the city faded above them. Soon there remained only the soft echo of footsteps. Tap, tap, tap. The staircase finally ended before a section of wall Velen had never seen before. He frowned. He had studied the tower maps. Every apprentice had. There was no chamber here. No corridor. Nothing. Yet before them stood a massive bronze door. Its surface towered nearly twice the height of a man. Age had darkened the metal to a deep green gold. Thousands of intricate engravings covered its face. Velen stepped closer. Spirals, stars, constellations, clock faces, interlocking gears, and woven among them all, threads, countless threads, delicate lines twisting and crossing one another in impossible patterns. The symbol of the loom. A chill traveled through him. The loom. Clockmakers rarely spoke of it. The subject belonged to old myths. Ancient stories told to children, tales of weavers, dreamers, and forgotten ages before the great clocks. Stories, nothing more, or so he had always believed. Orin removed a key from the ring hanging at his belt. Unlike the others, this key was black. Not painted, not tarnished. Black all the way through. Its surface seemed to drink in the light around it. Velen had never seen it before. The old clockmaker inserted the key into the lock. A deep metallic click echoed from somewhere beyond the door. The sound traveled through unseen mechanisms hidden within the stone. Then another, and another. Ancient gears awakening after centuries of silence. Slowly the door began to move. A rush of cold air swept outward. It smelled of dust, old paper, ancient stone, and something else, something impossible to name. The scent of forgotten things. Darkness waited beyond. Not ordinary darkness, the kind found beneath the ocean or inside caves untouched by sunlight. Deep, endless, patient. Orin lifted his lantern. Its soft golden glow pushed against the shadows. The darkness retreated only slightly. Reluctantly. Together they stepped inside. Velen stopped breathing. The chamber was enormous, far larger than the tower above. The ceiling vanished into darkness. Rows upon rows of shelves stretched beyond sight. Thousands of books lined ancient wooden cases. Scrolls rested inside glass cabinets. Brass cylinders sat upon stone pedestals. Crystal memory archives shimmered faintly in the lantern light. The room felt less like a library and more like a buried city, an ocean of knowledge hidden beneath the world. Tiny golden lights drifted lazily through the darkness. At first, Velen thought they were insects. Then he realized they were not. The lights moved with purpose, slowly weaving between shelves, floating around forgotten relics, like silent guardians keeping watch over history itself. Their glow illuminated fragments of lost ages. A cracked map depicting lands he had never heard of, a silver mask worn by some forgotten civilization, a clock unlike any clockmaker design, paintings of cities hanging beneath strange stars, evidence of histories long erased from memory. Velen turned slowly. Awe flooded through him. How long has this been here? Orin's lantern cast dancing shadows across the shelves. Longer than the city remembers. The answer raised more questions than it answered. Then Velen saw the statue. It stood alone at the center of the chamber, nearly 3 times the height of a man, carved from pale stone that seemed to glow softly within the darkness. A clockmaker, or so he thought. The figure wore robes similar to those of the oldest masters. Its face carried the same calm wisdom. Yet something was wrong, very wrong. There were no tools, no keys, no instruments, no clocks. Instead, both hands rested upon an enormous loom. Threads carved from stone stretched across its frame. Thousands of them, interwoven into patterns so intricate they seemed alive. Velen felt his pulse quicken. The drifting golden light circled the statue. Their glow revealed words carved into its base. Ancient words, hidden for centuries. Waiting. "Who is that?" he whispered. For a long time, Orin said nothing. The silence seemed sacred. At last the old clockmaker spoke. One of the first clockmakers. Velen frowned. His eyes remained fixed upon the loom. The first clockmakers built the great clocks. A sad smile touched Orin's face. The kind born from old truths and older regrets. That, he said quietly, is what we were taught. Velen stepped closer. The inscription came fully into view. His breath caught. The words seemed impossible, yet they were carved deep into the stone, undeniable, waiting across the centuries for someone to read them. The first clockmakers were not builders. They were weavers. The chamber seemed to tilt around him. Every lesson, every certainty, every story he had ever been told suddenly felt fragile, incomplete, and somewhere far beneath the spiral city, the ancient pulse returned. Stronger this time, closer, as though whatever had awakened knew they had finally begun to remember.